all about my dog Kopek here, and we're gonna talk about some of the basics like her age, her breed, her temperament, that kind of stuff, and then we're gonna go into a little more detail about kind of her origin and her history with me. So I hope you enjoy this. Kopek is 7.5 years old. She's a female, and she is a black lab cattle dog mix. As far as I can tell, we haven't done any of the DNA testing or anything like that, but she shows all the signs of being those two breeds of dogs. As far as her temperament goes, she is extremely loving. As you can see, she's nuzzling me right now. She's a very affectionate dog. So Kopek's temperament varies quite a bit from activity to activity, but fortunately she does a great job of kind of picking up on and adjusting to the varying activities that we're doing. So when we go to the dog park or the dog beach or go on a hike or something, she goes absolutely wild. She loves it. She has the best time of her life and will just run nonstop. She could chase the tennis ball till she passes out, honestly. And but then when we get back and we gotta hop into the car, she'll quiet right down, lay down on the bed, and just relax. Her ability to adapt to various activity levels has proven to be very beneficial to me as somebody who leads a relatively active lifestyle, but also lives in a car. We kind of hit both those extremes of, you know, climbing to the top of mountains, but also spending a rainy day almost completely cooped up in this thing. She's not super large. She's about the size of a cattle dog, probably about 50 pounds right now. She could stand to lose a few of those, but probably about 50 pounds at the moment. So we've got a bed in here that's a little bit smaller than a full bed, and we fit pretty comfortably in there. As long as she cooperates and lays parallel rather than perpendicular, we can fit in the bed pretty well, just the two of us. Some of Kopek's favorite things are, first and foremost, food. Then probably the ball or frisbee or other thing that she can fetch. Ball, frisbee, stick. You can see she's perking up with those words. And then third is probably me. And then fourth is probably women. She loves women. She's always lived with guys pretty much for her whole life except for 1 year. And so anytime she sees a woman that she knows and loves, she goes absolutely bonkers. And it's really, really cute to see. I'm obviously a little biased because Kopek is my dog, but I do think that she's an extremely special dog. There's something about her that I don't see in any or many other dogs besides her, and that is just her ability to experience and express emotion. She's a very, very emotional dog. She shows sadness and happiness and comfort, and she's got these light brown eyes that just like stare deeply into your eyes, and you can see kind of the understanding in them, and it's honestly what I think sets her apart from other dogs. You know, there are other dogs that are more beautiful or more athletic or more intelligent, but I have yet to find a dog that has the emotional intelligence that Kopek has and can pick up on my emotions and express her own emotions. It's really, it's mind-blowing a little bit. I got Kopek July 5th, 2012 from a shelter in Goleta, California, near Santa Barbara, where I used to live. They didn't know much of her history. The only thing I really know is that she got picked up off the streets in Santa Maria, which is about an hour north, and taken to the shelter that I adopted her from. I got her when she was about 6 months old, so she didn't have a lot of life and memories prior to me, but I think there's some vestige of whatever her prior life was, and I think there is possibly some history of neglect in her early puppyhood. She has a few irrational fears. She absolutely is terrified of the sound of flapping fabric or just flapping noises. Like, she absolutely hates when you open up a trash bag and you like whip all the air into it. It is the most terrifying thing in the world to her, and I don't know if that is something that that stems from abuse early on in her life, or if it just, scared her once and she's never gotten over it. She probably could stand to have a little more of a fear of heights. She'll just like walk up to the edge of cliffs like it's nothing, and like acting like my mom, like, get away from the edge, get back, get back. So let's dive into kind of my side of things and why I decided to get Kopek. So I estimate Kopek was born probably in January of 2012. At that time I was living in a major city in Turkey. Every day I would walk to get breakfast or walk to run errands or whatever, and there were stray dogs all over the neighborhood, and I just absolutely loved those stray dogs. Like, I named every single one in my neighborhood. I would pet them all. Some of them would nip at me and bite me, and I didn't even care. Probably really stupid, but I loved those dogs so much. And it made me realize that, like, I grew up with tons of dogs. My family always had like at least a couple dogs at all times. And then when I moved to college, I had no dogs in my life. All of a sudden I went from tons of dogs all the time to no dogs whatsoever. And so when I went to Turkey and there were dogs all over the place, it made me realize what a huge void there was that dogs once filled. And so I decided while I was in Turkey that I was gonna, when I got back to the United States, I would get a dog, and I would name it Kopek, because that means dog in Turkish, and I would just kind of be paying homage to those street dogs, the stray dogs that would roam the streets in Turkey. So that's her name, Kopek, Kopek. So the year that I was in Turkey was probably the most difficult year of my life. I was going through a breakup and heartbreak. I was living in another country, away from friends and family. I was seeing some of my most valued friendships kind of dissolve into thin air because of that distance, and I was just agonizingly depressed and sad for a good portion of that year. So I was going through that breakup in and around January of 2012, which is exactly when Kopek was born. So I can totally see that this is me just sort of extracting meaning from something that doesn't have innate meaning to it, but I see that I'm cared for because when I was in my most difficult time, my darkest hour, Kopek was being born, and she was being made into something that was going to be a comfort and a relief to me in my darkest moments. So now that we've kind of gotten through all the cheesy, sappy, sentimental stuff, let's talk about some of Kopek's accolades, because she's actually quite an accomplished dog. She has done a lot of things that a lot of other dogs and even other humans don't get to do. Kopek has been to approximately 35 states. I don't have an exact count, but something around 35 states. She has swam in both the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. She has been the easternmost dog in the United States in Lubec, Maine at Quoddy Head Lighthouse. She's been to glaciers over 13,000 feet high. She has swam in innumerable bodies of water. have logged probably thousands of miles of hiking and running together. So if you're not convinced that Kopek is as amazing as I think she is, that's okay. I won't take it personally, but she is quite an incredible dog and she means a lot to me. So thank you for watching this video, and I will hopefully see you in another video soon. Thanks.